We break the news.
This is Christ Embassy.
Recollect, we were the first to break this. Governor Abba-Kabir Yusuf of Kano State has approved the appointment of 3 second-class emirs. And this?
Erasmus is the most successful program of the European Union to support education and youth.
And this?
Fubara is not an ungrateful person.
And more.
Tension is currently mounting in Rivers State. The planned arraignment of Yaya Bello.
Across our platforms. Subscribe now and you will be receiving our notifications and never left out as the news breaks on Clearview.
Hello and welcome to Clearview Hangout, where we get to talk about issues affecting every Nigerian, especially the common man on the street. And today on Clearview News Hangout, we dive into the complex dynamics of insecurity, exploring roles of family, society and governance. In this lingering crisis, join us as we seek answers to these pressing issues. I'm your host, Florence Joshua. With me are 3 beautiful women. To my right is Imefon Okon, and to my far left is Gloria. And seated right next to Gloria is Abiola Alafe to discuss these issues. You can call in to be a part of the show or drop your opinion on the comment section. Welcome.
We break the news.
This is Christ Embassy.
Recollect, we were the first to break this. Governor Abba-Kabir Yusuf of Kano State has approved the appointment of 3 second-class emirs. And this?
Erasmus is the most successful program of the European Union to support education and youth.
And this?
Fubara is not an ungrateful person.
And more.
Tension is currently mounting in Rivers State. The planned arraignment of Yaya Bello.
Across our platforms. Subscribe now and you will be receiving our notifications and never left out as the news breaks on Clearview.
Welcome. So, insecurity in Nigeria. There's been an ongoing blame game. Who is really responsible for the pervasive sense of fear and uncertainty that grips our nation? Is it the family unit where values and morals are first instilled, or is it society where pressures and expectations can fuel desperation? Perhaps it is the government criticized for its handling of justice and insecurity. Gloria?
Well, for me, I would say that each institution, kind of like has a role to play. But much credence also goes to the family, because the family is the first agent of socialization. So for the child, that is where he first learns how to speak. That is where he learns basic values, basic manners. So, those formative years, they are very important, because most of the things we learn from our formative years are the things that follow us, down to adulthood and, the rest of our lives. So it is a very, very critical period in the life of a child. So if the proper values are not instilled in a child at that age, that child grows up and becomes vulnerable or becomes easily influenced by what they see in society. So even the good book says that you should train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he would not depart from it. So if the family system is well structured and the basic values that every individual needs to thrive is instilled in them from a very young age, then when they grow, regardless of the society, regardless of, the situation they find themselves in, I believe that child will still be able to, stand out.
Imefon Okon, in this context, the family, the society, the government, who is to be blamed?
I'm looking at the society. Family, sometimes parents will do their best to train these children. Like when Boko Haram started, some children were picked from their houses against their parent consent. They forced them to join Boko Haram. So now, what will you now blame parents that they did not train these children well? Parents will always do their best, but the society too. They have their role to play, because now you train your children. When they go outside, you don't know who they meet. You don't know who they meet. So now, like, let me just focus on the Boko Haram issue. They picked these children and they started training them on how to kill. Most of them, while they were there, they still remember the morals their parents impacted into them. But what will they do? What will they do?
Miss Abiola.
Well, I think the society at large should take the blame, because there's this saying that one person gives birth to a child, but 20 persons or the whole community at large needs to contribute to training a child. You have the school system, you have peer pressure, and government have a role to play. Let me look at the school system. There was this particular story I heard in America that in a class, a teacher was telling the pupils that you can choose to be whatever you want. I mean sexually this time around. You can choose, if you don't want what you are, like your sex, you can choose to transgender in a classroom. And students, children, when they are still tender, they tend to value what their teachers tell them, even more than what their parents tell them. They will tell you, my auntie said, even against what your own judgments, your own ideas, they will begin to tell you, no, what, at a very tender age, when you begin to, make these children hear such things, you are forming a mindset. And then you go on to social media. We as media people need to do more. You go on to social media and see a lot of things going on. So people pick things from, even when the parents have done a background, which is also very important, because children are just like tabula rasa, just like my colleague here said, and then you write on it. So from a tender age, parents should start writing, but the society at large still has a role to play.
This is an interesting discourse, because for some people, they believe the family trains and then impacts certain values and morals into the children. But the society at large, you train, but then these children grow up and they are exposed to a larger society where they pick up things from their environment, they pick up things from school. And now we also have the government who, a sense of justice is eroded. Because some people believe you just need to have just enough money, you'll be able to get out of certain situations. Some people will bring the cases of Ikorimadu to mind. If the instance happened in Nigeria where he had to pay up for his daughter's kidney, as a deputy senate president, that's even so far, as a senator or as a big man, a wealthy, influential man, he would have gotten away with it. Because the society is agreeing to a lot of things. And then this takes us back to, let's say, the boys that believe in the Yahoo system. So there's an acceptance now where we hear of instances where parents take their children from schools and then they sell off their wrappers, they sell off their golds to go and register them in Yahoo Academy. We have instances where some parents go to school to fight the school that this is who I want my son or my daughter to be. There's an acceptance, because when this Yahoo thing started, a group of people believed they are getting what the Westerners came and stole from Nigeria. I don't think we ever thought they would in turn scam us. And now we're talking about the Boko Haram system, where a certain group of people believe in this region, if you persecute our children, you are killing our children. They are just or ill-informed, or they are just under wrong, what's the word? They are under wrong, they are following wrong teachings. So don't kill our children, don't punish them. So we have a way of covering. So in all this, in the West, we have the Yahoo. Oh, no longer in the West, everywhere. Mm-hmm. Then we have the Boko Haram, we have the militants. In all of this, insecurity has become a problem currently. Ms. Alafe, I don't know.
Well, just like I said before, the society, when we see an issue springing forth, we need to nib it in the bud before it becomes an issue. I can remember when Governor Alamesia his saga and all that, his people, the people of his state, despite the atrocities committed, they welcomed him in a ceremony.
As a king, yeah.
It's so appalling and so very, I don't know what the language to use for this scenario. They are encouraging him to do more. That's just the way it is.
So it's a case of a thief is a thief, but my thief is my thief. Allow me.
Okay, so one thing I feel that, you know, a lot of us might be forgetting is that it is a society is made up first from different people, from different families. It is different families that form a society, and that is why I'm still of the school of thought, or of the opinion rather, that, you know, the family system has a larger role to play in all this, because there are certain things that, you know, Imefon and Mrs. Abiola, they've pointed out rightly that, you know, children pick up traits from the society and all of that. But the truth is, regardless of everything you pick, you are still going to come back home. So your home, your family, which is the primary agent, you know, has the responsibility, the parents, the people there, the responsibility of filtering out these things. Now, I'll give an example. When I was very little, I had a friend, a very close friend, that used to stammer. So my mom was the one who told me that story. And she noticed that after some time, I started stammering. So if I come home and I'm talking, I cannot have a straight conversation with my parents anymore. I'll be talking and I'll be saying, and because that child was my very close friend. So I had picked up, you know, children can pick up very stupid things while growing up. Even now, I have a cousin too who had that experience. He had a friend who was stammering, and he started stammering. Immediately, the mom noticed it. Same with my mom then. No, this is wrong. And then, if I come and I try to, you know, engage my parents in a conversation, if I'm stammering, they won't answer me. They won't talk to me. So I'll go and sit back and wonder, why are they not talking to me? It is because I'm stammering. So before I come back to meet my parents, I would, you know, calculate what I want to say to avoid that stutter. And that was how I was able to overcome that phase in my life, and I started speaking back normally. Same thing, I still know of a child who started picking up a certain walking posture. Now, he was picking that up because somebody in that environment was walking that way. And like I said, children, their minds can be very crazy at times. He liked that walking step. Meanwhile, this person was walking because it was a physical deformity. And the child started walking that way. The mother said, "What is this?" And she picked it up and corrected it immediately. So when it comes to the issue of corruption, it comes to the issue of, you know, the insecurity, when your child is picking up whatever, because not everybody, we all have different ways we are trained. But if the society or if the family can be intentional about the values they want to see in their children, irrespective of how that community might be, that child will stand out. That is why even in the most chaos in Nigeria, let's say in places like the slums, we still have, although very little, but we have some children who still stand out because the parents have been intentional in their parenting. So same thing. So when they notice you are holding a pencil that is not yours, why are you holding a pencil that is not yours? They address it immediately. There are children that cannot steal. Even if they want to steal, they may steal outside, but they know their parents will frown at it. And over time, my parents are frowning at this, my parents are frowning at this. It means it is not good. So sometimes they now have this conviction in their own heart that probably this is not right. And then, you know, they adjust accordingly.
You know, like just what you said, you were talking about if, you know, this thing too, like I was saying, I'm not saying that parents don't have something, a role to play. It's only society, because the way you want your child to be, it will start from you. Now, you are talking about when somebody, now, a child will steal something and bring it home. Parents don't see it to be anything. I stole school locker because they stole my own. I brought it from a very far distance. I brought that school locker home. It was during holiday. And my father said it was not the locker I bought for you. I could not tell. I told him they stole my own, so I decided to steal their own. You know, that far distance, he told me, with Ken, he told me, take it back. I now started trekking. Since that day, even if you steal my thing, I will just leave it, allow it to be. So I feel parents, we are not giving close marking on our children. And we don't give them listening ears. Sometimes children maybe sometimes they force them. My younger brother, growing up, He told me when he was in school, we just sit down, only him thinking how he will manage through school. Some people will come and meet him. Will you like to come and join this? They were trying to introduce him to cultism. He now told them, because the training my father gave us at early stage, he taught us how to pray early in the morning. We sit down, share the word of God with us. It was into us. So my brother now told the guy, said, if you think where you belong, there's power. I think it's better introduce you to my own. This one has more power than your own. So once they see him, they just know that he's a pastor. This is the way you train your children. When they see them, they will give them names. Some they will tell them, this one is a pastor, this one. John Wesley became I read something about what Susan Wesley did. That's John Wesley's mother. They said she gave birth to 19 children. They said like 6 or 5 died at infant. The remaining one, they say every week will be for a child. Every week she'll pick a particular child. She always talk to that one, impact morals, spiritual and everything. That was sad. They said all the John Wesley's siblings, they were all evangelists. So tell me, will a child like that bring problem to the parent? They will not bring problem to the parent.
This.
And it will be very difficult for you to change children like that. The society cannot influence them. No matter how you force them, you rather kill them.
Okay, I like the angle which you picked that from. You spoke about religion. So I'm taking it back to religion. Our religious leaders are not doing enough. Sincerely. Because you just talked about the family introducing the child to religious values. What about our pastors, our clerics, our imams? Are they doing justice? The is it kidnappers now that were caught? One was caught. They were both caught going for Hajj, right? Hajj. You know what that means? What's going on in their minds? What values were they taught? It speaks volumes, sincerely. So our pastors, you hear stories of pastors sleeping with their members, people that are meant to be role models. So please, where do we go from there? When you see the person that you're looking up to, just crash the whole...
I think, to cut you short, somebody said something in the church the other day. He said, a woman, when she came to give testimony, said after church, when they get home, her husband will call all the children, come start one by one. What did you gain from the church today? It has to just be one thing. If you do not get more than 5 things that the pastor taught that day, you must get at least one. That if the children did not get it, the father will blame the mother. So that means if you go to church, pastor will tell you whatever he feels to tell you. You have to pick. When you pick it, whatever you pick, that is what will work for you. A pastor is human being like us. When they leave the altar, they live normal life.
I think we are shifting so many blames, and then the one person we need to, I will tend to lean towards what Gloria is saying. The family unit is the most important part of every society. And then we have children who grow up to become adults and grow up to become parents themselves, and they grow up to become leaders, and they form the larger part of the society. So if the work is on, the onus is usually on parents, we need to agree as a society that we must have missed our ways, our parents must have missed their ways. But we need to come back and say, integrity still works, honesty still works, hard work pays. That is where the government and the society needs to reward merit, need to reward hard work. Appointments should be based on merit. In the case of these young children, we are joking. In the case of these young children with this JAM issue, the government is not even taking responsibility for what is happening. We have young children that don't want to go to school entirely, and then the small population that are still interested in going to school, you are messing up their chances. And you are not coming out to apologize to these children. You are not coming out to say, I am responsible for this, we are going to make this better. Nobody is saying anything. It's like, we don't care. Next year you come and write. So within this 1 year, what happens? Most parents can barely afford to eat or put roof over their children's head. So we can't even say, because you can't go and learn a skill now without paying to learn a skill. or if you are learning a skill, then there's where influence, because parents are not even at home. Most parents, everybody is asking a woman what she brings to the table. So that means the husband and the wife are supposed to go out to work. So these children have one gap here. They are not doing anything. Nobody is supervising them. So they are just left to the society and TVs.
Okay, so I would say that I feel like, the Nigerian society right now is a society filled with a lot of dysfunctionality from the top, which is from governance.
Is it just a Nigerian society or the society general?
Yes, we could put it that way. The society in general, there's a lot of dysfunction. So it stems from, I think it's a top-down, down-up approach. I don't really know how to put it, because each system is flawed already. So that is why a flawed person from his home is entering a flawed society, is becoming a leader, and is a flawed leader. And because you cannot give what you don't have. So that is why the circle just keeps coming. So it just keeps repeating itself. So we've really missed it, and honestly I don't know if it is possible for us to go back, because everybody just has to be intentional right now. There was a time I attended a workshop, and that workshop really opened my eye. Not that I'm creating excuses for the government now, but an official, someone who gave that workshop said that.
Before you give that thought, we would like to call for a short break, and we'll be back.
Recollect, we were the first to break this. Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf of Kano State has approved the appointment of 3 second-class emirs. And this?
Erasmus is the most successful program of the European Union to support education and youth.
And this?
Fubara is not an ungrateful person.
And more.
Tension is currently mounting in Rivers State. The planned arraignment of Yaya Bello.
Across our platforms. Subscribe now, and you will be receiving our notifications and never left out as the news breaks on Clearview.
Welcome back. Before we went on this break, Gloria was giving an opinion on, you think we shouldn't blame the government?
No, I'm not saying we shouldn't blame the government. I'm just saying that every institution has a role to play. And until we people become about, changing this narrative. So everybody has to just wake up. That is just the word right now that just came to mind. Everybody just has to wake up. The government has to wake up to its responsibility, because we as a society, we as a family, we entertain, we clap when we see evil. So that is why even when the government is doing what is not right, we cannot speak out, because I don't know, but it just still falls back to the family for me. Because when you see something, the family is the easiest structure the easiest unit that you can control. If you cannot control your family, you cannot control the society, and you cannot control the full population. So the family just has to get it right, so that when your family now, they would say, don't tell me what to do, do as I do. Yes. So in a family now, if your family is doing it right, Ime's family is doing it right, Abiola's family is doing it right, my family is doing it right, we are the ones that are going to be bringing the new society. So that's the only way it can be formed. A better society can be formed. If the existing society, the existing families, we are now intentional about changing, because we are now producing better people in the society, and we are producing better leaders. So eventually it will not be a one-day thing. It will take years, plenty of years, maybe 10, 20 years. That is when we'll start seeing that positive change.
Imafon, you said it's the society that should be blamed for this. So what do you think? How do we improve on all of this?
Oh, it's not only society who blame. Like a day before yesterday, the governor of Kaduna State said something. He said it's poverty that is fueling insecurity, and I agreed with him, because I've had cases where some parents, like a young boy was caught doing yahoo. Was like, when they caught him, when he was confessing, he said it was his mother that sold a wrapper and enrolled him in that school. And I have a friend, she's even a barrister. She said, growing up, I don't want to mention a particular state like that this thing is actually trending. That when young girls are coming home with men that, like, you have a boyfriend that has a car, you are in front, they will just boom, they will just drive inside your compound. Your mother will come out, she will be so proud. Then other women, the neighbors that are coming, what happened? My daughter boyfriend, I'm be this. So that same woman now, that's the neighbors who come. You drag their children inside. You they see mama and Kechi pikin do. You go there here now to they sit down here with me 247. Ma they suffer. You know they see what other people they do. You have just passed a message. Pressure will not set in. That child will start thinking, how do I become like Mama and Kechi's daughter? Then this one now, you have to go. Is it not people's children that are doing this? You have enrolled this one to become Yahoo. One day will not use you. Sacrifice. From there, they'll continue to sacrifice. I feel because of poverty, a lot of things come to play. Because the government are not giving us, there's no listening, they don't have that listening ear. We are telling them we don't like this. Government continue to. If government as it is now, everybody is struggling to survive. If they can put some structures on ground that can ease this poverty, reduce the burden people are going through right now, it will help. Because parents will not say, because now some parents now depend on their children. Anyhow you bring that money, I don't care. So now as a woman, even if I do prostitution and send money to my father in the village, he does not know what I'm doing here. Because he will call me and tell me, so child is building house for the father. This one is building. So anyhow I have to just meet up. So the parents, they should be careful with the pressure they are mounting on their children. Government should create that enabling environment, reduce some prices of things. I think it starts from far.
Well, as much as I agree with Ms. Gloria, I'll just ask these questions. What is your thought on children who are orphans? Who do we blame? And so I would say that the society at large should still take a fair share. When you see something going wrong, make corrections. Speak out. Don't just say, oh, it's not my child, it's not my business. Forgetting that it still comes back. That child that you left unattended to, that child that you left without correcting, will become a bigger issue to the society. So we should learn to speak up when things are not going right, when people don't act right. We shouldn't keep silent. We shouldn't form the I don't care attitude. We should learn to speak up, because in the long run,
sorry,
it affects us.
I want to cut you short. See, you are talking about orphans. They will come to stay with a woman, a mother, a woman that will have children. But you know that the way they will treat that particular child, it will be different from the way they treat their children. Now, the message you are passing across to that child is that you are not my own. Children like that don't do well in the society. They are number one set of children that always constitute nuisance in the society. When children are not they don't love, they are not experiencing it. So I feel when somebody come into your home, everybody should be treated equally.
I think before we all get to that, I think the government, we need to prioritize education, make it as affordable as we can. That's one. Two, we need to return dignity of labor. The teacher should be respected as much as the doctor is. The cleaner should be respected. There should be dignity in labor. I think that's the difference with the Western society. And then we need to start rewarding merit. So when there's education, the return of dignity of labor, there's reward for merit. I think as a general society we will do better, because when the family unit has done its own part, the society rewards this, and then a sense of justice. We need to go back to the days of justice. When you commit a crime, whoever you are, you pay for your crime. When there's consequences for every action, I think the society will be better.
Sure.
So it's been an amazing time discussing different perspectives to rising cases of insecurity in Nigeria. Many thanks for joining us on today's edition of Clearview's Hangout. Remember, the security is everybody's business. Let's keep the conversation going. Thank you very much. Bye for now.